Let it be. With me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to this Monday Night Football overtime exclusive. We got a doubleheader, first of two games on Monday night for the third time this season. Chiefs, Bills, 2-4-1 teams coming into the game. The team that I expected to dominate did, but not the way I expected them to do it. Now, you know what's been really impressive with this year's version of the Chiefs? This carnation, this setup that they have this year versus last year and the year before that, they've been able to win dirty. In past years, not really sure if the Chiefs could win dirty football games. What I mean by that is when teams say, okay, you're not going deep. We're going to keep two safeties back. We're going to keep everything in front of us. Can you run the football with a light box and dominate the game on the ground? If the game's shortened, can you still be successful? And this game for me with the Chiefs, believe it or not, looked exactly like week number 1. It really did to me. If you remember that first game, Thursday Night Football, Chiefs, Texans, Clyde Edwards-Helaire burst onto the scene, first ever game as a professional. He runs it about 27, 28 times in that game for about $140 and a couple of scores, and he was really impressive. Caught it a little bit out of the backfield too. Same thing tonight. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, about 25, 26 carries, $161. Did everything, caught it out of the backfield a little bit, did everything they needed him to do. They took the air out of the football for the most part. When Mahomes needed to throw it, he threw it. When he needed Travis Kelce, he was there. When he had to find Chris Pringle, he was there. You know, it's amazing how this offense is able to just do whatever it is they need to do to win that particular week. And that's not how this offense was set up a year ago or 2 years ago. They couldn't run the football and beat you that way last year. Last year, they needed to throw the football effectively. You know, it was cool if Damian Williams got you, but that's not really what they were looking to do. If it was wet and nasty outside, not quite sure how they were going to handle that. This year, it was a wet, nasty day in week 1 at home against the Texans. They ran it down their throats. The Texans said, you're not going deep. We're going to keep two safeties deep. What are you going to do? Oh, they said, well, fine, we'll just run it. Don't worry about it. You're giving us a light box, we'll take it. And they rammed it down their throats. Today, wet, nasty day at Orchard Park in Buffalo. They're keeping their safeties back. Okay, you're going to give us a light box, we'll run it down your throats. And that's been one of the issues with the Bills, and we'll talk about them here in a second, but this was about the Chiefs and their ability to adapt. Nasty environment. Not sure. No Samuel Watkins. So the passing game not going to be as prolific as it usually is. A defense that has had trouble stopping the run. Hell, the Bills have had issues stopping everything defensively. We'll get to that in a second. But specifically the run. I've seen teams run all over them this year. And you're going to give me a light box? Okay, I'll take it. Don't worry about it. And whether it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire or it was Darrell Williams. Hell, even Derwin Thompson got into the mix. Darwin Thompson said, let me get a piece of this action. It was a dominant performance on the ground for the Chiefs. Matter of fact, I'm curious. How many yards did they rush for as a collective team tonight? Had to be over 225. It has to be. Let's check and see what they ultimately rushed for in this game. 245. Yikes. They ate them up on the ground. And that's not what we are accustomed to seeing from this Chiefs team, which is why this is so pleasant to see. If you're a Chiefs fan, this is the second time you've done this season, which means you don't have a problem winning dirty. You don't have a problem getting it in the mud, so to speak. I wasn't sure if you could get dirty last year. Those types of games didn't really appeal to you. Now you're able to do whatever it takes to win, and that makes you more dangerous. Because all of a sudden, if you run into a Tennessee and they want to slow the game down and they want to try to keep everything in front of them and they don't want you to go deep, guess what you can say? We can run it. We can run the football with your ass if that's what you want to do. If we got to beat you 23-16, we can do that. The Chiefs didn't used to be able to do that. They needed to score 30 to win. Now they can play some defense and they can run the football. So they're sort of a shapeshifter now. Whatever they need to do, they can in order to find a way to win. That makes them more dangerous. The more you can do, the more you can adapt to, which is why the Packers are kind of skittish because they can't adapt. They can only win one way, their way. And when they're forced out of their element, they struggle. But the Chiefs are saying is, it doesn't matter how you want to do it. However you want to do it, how you want to play it, we can do that and still win. That's impressive. Because you know what the book is on them now is, hey, slow the game down. Take the air out of the football. Don't let Mahomes and company have it. You got two ways, two school of thoughts. You can either do what the Raiders did last week, which is try to outscore them, which is not the best move. The Raiders did it. They had some success, but that's family business. Don't try to do what family members do. Nobody knows the family better than the family. Or you could do what the 49ers did, unsuccessfully, but successful for 3 2/3 quarters. You could do what the Titans tried to do, or you can do what the Patriots did a week ago. And that's try to take the air out of the football. You know, run the ball, control the clock, win time of possession, keep Mahomes and company off the field. And when they get on the field offensively, keep your safeties back, make sure it's no quick strikes. How many teams have tried that this year? That's the blueprint now. The Chargers tried it. That's family business, though. As I warned you, don't do what family members do. They have a license to do that. You don't. But then we saw the Patriots do it. We saw the Texans try and do it. And now we saw this team tonight in the Bills try and do the same thing. And you know what the Chiefs said? We can play it your way. If that's what you want to do, we can do that too. We can run it. We can shorten the game. You know what's the difference going to be? We're going to score touchdowns and you're going to settle for field goals and you're going to lose the football game. Or we're going to score more times than you do because we can run it. And if we end up in 3rd and 6, guess what? Our guy, 15, he can get us out of a jam. Can yours? Can your guy get you out of a jam? A 3rd and 14. Can your guy get you out of a 3rd and 14? My guy can't. If I have a bad hit on 1st down and I lose 2 and it's 2nd and 12, can you overcome that? Because my guy can't. So the Chiefs are so interesting now because they can play a little bit of defense, which they couldn't do in the past, and now they can run it with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're a different team now. And that's fun to watch. I love when teams evolve. The evolution of the Chiefs has been fun to watch because it makes them that much more scary now that you can't just say, hey, let's go against this Chiefs team. Let's take the air out of the football. Let's run it, and let's keep our safeties back, and let's make them uncomfortable. Now they're like, hey, we're comfortable in this setting. We used to be uncomfortable. Now we're comfortable. A wise man once told me, you got to make sure that you learn how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Well, the Chiefs figured it out. Now you got to find another way to try to beat them. As for the Bills, this is the problem. This has always been the problem this year. And I've talked about this on numerous occasions. Even when they were winning, they weren't playing good defense. And at some point, this is going to come back to haunt you. Now it's 2 weeks in a row. You can't stop anybody. And at some point, you're not going to be playing the Dolphins or the Jets or these teams that just because off the strength of you having more talent, you're going to find a way to win. At some point, you're going to play other good teams, which is the stretch of football that you're going through right now, where you're going to actually have to get stops against quality opponents. And if you can't, you're going to lose. And so far, you're failing the test. Tennessee can score, you couldn't stop them. The Chiefs can score, you couldn't stop them. Your offense is good, but it's not good enough to outscore elite level offenses. So you're going to have to find a way to get stops. If you can't get stops, you're going to have to force some turnovers. There's ways around this. We've seen teams that can't get stops consistently. We've seen them find a way to win games still. The way you do that is you're going to have to start forcing some damn turnovers. If you can't force turnovers and you can't get stops, you're going to get beat. Especially when you play the better teams in this league. You can't give it up on the ground and through the air and expect to win. Because right now, you can't stop the pass and you can't stop the run. I watched the Rams and their second year back, Henderson, gut you en route to scoring 29 unanswered points. Absolutely gut you on the ground. You had no answers. And once that started working, they started going play action fake. You had no answer for that. I watched last week. Ryan Tannehill said, hey, let me get in on some of this ground action, man. You couldn't stop him from running. You did a little something against Derrick Henry, but he did more than enough. And then when they decided they needed to throw it, you had no answers. This week, you said, hey, Mahomes, you're not going to beat us deep. He said, fine, we'll beat you underneath. They ran the football. When they needed a conversion, they just turned to Travis Kelce. Hey, Kelce, can you get us 6? Cool, I'll get you 8. Hey, Kelce, we need 9. Great, I got 11 for you. You have no answer. Your defense used to be something you could hang your hat on. I don't know what has transpired. I don't know what's different. I know you're missing some guys. And I know that's what Bills fans are going to say. Hey, I'm missing Levi Wallace and I'm missing Tre'Davious White. And I had no Matt Milano. I understand that. Next man up. Nobody wants to hear about what you don't have. Tell me what you do have and how you're going to find a way to be better. That's how it works in this league. Everybody's missing somebody. Nobody's 100% healthy. I watched the Chiefs in week 1 go out there with their 4th and 5th string corners and go get it done. Nobody cares about what you do or don't have. Everybody's got injuries. Figure it out. But this is not what I'm used to seeing from this Bills team. You can't stop a damn wet paper bag right now defensively. It's hard to watch, especially knowing what Leslie Frazier is about and your head coach Sean McDermott is about. They're about defense first. To hell with all the scoring the points and all that shit. They want stops. They can't get them. They can't buy a stop right now. That's disheartening. Because this Bills offense, the goal was, hey, can we get the offense to match the level of this defense? That was the goal in the offseason. The offense took it a step further and said, you know what? We see your defense. We raise you a little bit of offense. So they took it another step. They went to next level. In the defense, you were hoping, oh, okay, we see where you at, and we gonna raise our level and meet you there. They instead dropped. They said, you know what? The offense can pick up a little bit more of the load. So you know what? We can take a step back and we'll be fine. No, that's not how this is supposed to work. You need to hold up your end of the bargain. And if they do their job and we're doing our job, we can be an elite team. But right now, you're putting too much of the onus on an offense that, frankly, has outkicked its coverage. This offense has outperformed even what we thought they were going to do in this young season. We didn't expect Josh Allen to be playing, after 4 weeks at least, at an MVP-like level. We weren't expecting this Bills team to be undefeated after 4 weeks of football. I didn't. I can't speak for you. I didn't. Okay? And I damn sure didn't think that this offense would gel as fast as it did, adding a guy like Stephon Diggs to the mix. I didn't think you would just come along and you'd have it that quick. But you did. But the defense didn't come along for the ride. And somewhere along the lines, the defense got lost in translation. Well, you need to find their ass and tell them to come on before it's too late. This division is there for you to run away with. But because your defense can't step up to the plate, you got the Dolphins sitting there just a game out of first place now. And they're thinking, why not us? Now, you're better than the Dolphins, and you should be able to put them away. The Patriots are struggling. This is your division. However, if you don't play better defense, you could be in trouble. You could really struggle and have to fight for this division that I really thought you could run away and hide with. This seemed like one of those years where you could have this thing wrapped up like how New England used to do by week 12, 13, had a division wrapped up. I wasn't thinking that early, but I was like, man, you can have this thing wrapped up by week 15. Why not? Now I'm not so sure if this defense continues to struggle. It's getting to the point now where you're benching guys that are healthy to try to make a statement to the rest of the guys. That's when you know you got issues. When we starting to have healthy scratches to make a statement, y'all not getting it done. It's the Chiefs. I get it. It's the Titans. Look, you guys got to stop thinking about the Titans of old. This is a brand new Titans team. They can give it to you any way you want it. Whether Ryan Tannehill has to throw for 350 and 4 scores, or Derrick Henry has to get you for 2 bills, or Furtzer has to get you for 8 catches, a Wk6, and a touch. They can give it to you however you want it. So now you're starting to look around the landscape of the AFC and we're saying, hey, look, Buffalo, man. It's a lot of good teams out here. We didn't think it was going to be this many good teams out here. It's a lot of good teams out here now in the AFC. Get your shit together, man. Get your shit straight. Because there's Baltimore. There's Pittsburgh. There's Kansas City. I want to see what the Raiders do the next time I see them on Sunday night versus Tampa Bay. But I'm not going to throw them in the mix yet. But there's Tennessee. Indianapolis isn't going away. Get your shit straight, Buffalo. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Big win for Kansas City. And I knew they would bounce back. They don't do 2 losses in a row with Mahomes in the lineup. I knew they would bounce back, and they did. And this was a good performance in the rain, on the road. I thought this was another solid Kansas City Chiefs performance offensively to get it done on the ground. Over 240 yards rushing in this game for the Chiefs. Like I said, they're starting to figure out ways to adapt to their surroundings. This is how you want to play us? This is what you're going to try to do? All right, we'll adapt and adjust, and we'll get it done too. And this was another one of those games. Got a couple comments, and we'll get out of here. I need to do something really fast. I should have done this already, but I'm going to start a chat for the game with the Cardinals. I'm going to do that right now. So that I can do that after this game goes off. I can jump right in. So if you're out there, you're a Washington fan, or if you're a Mob Squad fan, if you're a part of the Mob Squad, I just started a Cowboys Cardinals live stream chat. Let's get it. All right, I'm gonna jump right in after this is over with, but let's get to these comments real quick and get out of here. Niners fan says Buffalo should have gone for 2 to make it 23-18. It's tough relying on your defense to prevent Mahomes from getting into field goal range. I see the value in going for 2 there because there's really no downside to doing it because if you get it, as you mentioned, it's 23-18. They kick a field goal. You still got a chance to go down and get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie. If you miss it, it's a 7-point game. You still need a touchdown. And if they get a field goal, you're still going to be down 2 scores regardless, whether you kick the extra point or you don't. So, you know, I totally get where you're coming from there. And that was one of those situations where going for 2 probably is more beneficial than kicking the extra point. In their mind, they were just thinking, just get a stop. Just because in their mind, they were trying to preserve a way in which they get a stop, and they almost got the fumble. They were trying to preserve a way in which they get a stop and they score a touchdown, kick the extra point, they win 24-23. They weren't thinking about, you know, Mahomes getting in the field goal range because technically that's loser talk. You're assuming that they're going to go and get in the field goal range, and you're not thinking about that as a coach. You're thinking about getting a stop. You're not thinking about the worst case scenario, but you're right. In that particular situation against that team with that quarterback, you probably need to be thinking worst case scenario. Hey, under any circumstances, we got to give ourselves a chance. In a 2-point conversion, no matter what, gives us a chance. Because even if we kick the extra point and they go down and get in the field goal range, we still lose because we're down 2 scores at that point. So whether we kick this extra point or we go for 2 and we don't get it, whatever the case may be, we give ourselves the best chance by going for 2. And if we convert, no matter what they do, as long as it's not a touchdown, we got a shot. JCamman99 says, we are on to New Jersey. Cam Man also says, I think the number one issue is the running on the offense. The time of possession and passing and rushing all favored the Chiefs. J. Cam Man says, not being able to stop them on that last drive was heartbreaking. The momentum had changed, and I believe that we had got that turnover until I saw the replay. J. Camman says, we also had no business being stopped by the Chiefs defense given how bad their defense has been. Look, their defense hasn't been terrible this year. Don't let the last game against the Raiders fool you. They've actually been playing quality ball on the defensive side. They're a different group over there, and they just got Bashaud Breeland back a couple of weeks ago. He's going to help them. They were playing with a bunch of youngins out there earlier in the season. They're going to gel and mesh together. And I remember, I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, they didn't have Chris Jones. He changes everything on the interior of that defense. When he's in the lineup, they're a different group. When he's not, they struggle a bit sometimes. So he was out there tonight, and you could see how he could change the game. You had a 3rd and 1, and he blew it up. That's Chris Jones for you. J. Camman says, I agree that the defense is bad, but this is the year where all defense is bad. Not all defense, but you're right. More teams are struggling defensively than we've seen in quite some time. But that doesn't give your defense the right to follow suit. You need to go against the trend. Be more like the Bucks and the Bears and some of these teams that can play some defense, and don't be like everybody else. J. Camman says, I knew we would lose this game, but I was hopeful we wouldn't be dominated, but we were. I wouldn't say you were dominated. You were very hopeful last night. You said, hey, with all the upsets, you think we're going to get one tomorrow too? And I said, no. Had the Chiefs come into this game 5-0, yeah, maybe. But no, I didn't think so. J. Camman says, McDermott has a history of making starters inactive, not just this game. Maybe that's one of his things, he does, where that's his way of making an example out of a player or two is, okay, we don't like the way you're playing. All right, we're going to sit you down. And if you don't get that message, then you won't play, period. So it's not his first time, and it probably won't be his last if that's something that he does customarily. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, that was a good performance, I thought, by the Chiefs. And I thought the Bills hung tough because this could have gotten out of control. This could have went sideways for you quickly. You know, before that Cole Beasley touchdown drive, this could have gotten out of hand, and we could have looked back, and this could have been a 17, 18-point loss. Similar to that Patriots game when they played on Tuesday night a couple of weeks ago, or was it Monday? It was a Monday a couple of weeks ago. And the Patriots were in that game the entire time, and then they got away from them at the end, and they ended up losing 26-10. And if you didn't watch the game, you thought, okay, yeah, they beat them up. That's not necessarily how this game felt, but it was trending in that direction, and that touchdown, it made the Chiefs have to make some plays. You know? Like, they literally felt game pressure at that point. Because if they don't convert on that 3rd and 12 to Pringle, if they don't convert on that last 3rd down, they don't have a chance to retain possession. And all of a sudden, offense that just raced down the field is getting the football back with a chance not only to tie, but to win with an extra point. So you put game pressure on them, and they responded. Captain Spartan 04 says, I know I can't look too far ahead, but I can't wait for the playoffs. This AFC is loaded this year. Going to be a bunch of great games. Also scared of the Titans and Derrick Henry, the king. Yeah, the Titans are legit. Like, they're not to be tampered with. I tried to dismiss them. I shit on them early in the year. Ryan Tannehill, whatever. They gave him a deal. They were tripping. They can't sustain. Bullshit. They're as legit gets in the AFC right now. And even though I still got questions about their defense, they can't get pressure on the quarterback. They've got holes. They've got flaws too. They're still a tough out. And you're going to have to play some outstanding football to be able to best them for 60 minutes. So you're right. The AFC is a lot more deep than we thought it was going to be when this season first started. And so it's going to be fun watching the rest of this season unfold because there are some really good teams on the AFC side of the bracket. But that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. I won't hold you up any longer. We've got another game to get to. Cardinals and Cowboys. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys after that game has met its conclusion. And we'll see if the Cowboys can get back to 500 on the season, or if the Cardinals can make it 2 in a row, get to 4-2, and put some pressure on the Seattle Seahawks, who are 5-0 and undefeated or 4-0, excuse me, undefeated in that division. So we'll see. Or 5-0. I think I said that right. They didn't play this week. So we'll see what happens. Should be a good game. I'm anxious to see what the Cowboys look like, life without Dak. Do they run it more, or do they continue to throw it all over the football field? We shall see. In any event, Chiefs get it done on the road. Wet, nasty conditions. So what? They rush for over 240 yards in this game and win 26-17 over the Buffalo Bills. Chiefs improve to 5-1 and rebound from a 40-32 loss last week at home to the Raiders. Meanwhile, it's 2 in a row in terms of losses for the previously unbeaten Bills. Just 2 weeks ago, they were 4-0, riding high and at the top of the NFL food chain. 2 weeks later, 2 straight losses later, we're starting to question whether this Bills team has what it takes to compete against some of the upper echelon talent in the AFC. So that'll do it for me, your man, Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me. Remember, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And go ahead and hit that like button on your way out if you haven't already done so. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off until next time. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll come back and break that one down as well. Chiefs, a 26-17 winner over the Buffalo Bills. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. LouieTeeNetwork.